Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Carolyn and today we are going to be talking about my reading plans for the rest of 2023. I recently saw Katie is reading here on YouTube, also doing this end of the year book tag. I can't remember who she said was the original person who created it, but if I figure that out, I will add that video in the description. We will, I guess, jump right into the first question. Are there any books that you have started that you need to finish before the end of the year? No, I'm not really a person who reads books slowly over time. This time I'm kind of a binge reader, if you will. I don't like to wait any longer than like a week and a half or so to finish a book at the maximum. So I don't have any that I've started earlier this year, but I did just start Deathly Hallows, which is the seventh and final Harry Potter book. I just started this on audio. I will be finishing up probably pretty quickly. I have, however, gotten about 50 pages into this quite a few months ago, set it down, never picked it back up, just have not really been in the mood or interested, but I think this is the month. I think it kind of fits November vibes, so yeah, definitely want to try and get this finished before the end of the year. Second question is a book for an autumnal transition to the end of the year. I'm not sure. I'll put the actual wording up here because I don't know how to make a question out of what I wrote down. Now, I thought the perfect book for an autumnal transition to the end of the year would be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, I have been putting this book off all year. I bought it, I think, around April or May and have thought about picking it up. Maybe read the first page, but never actually sat down and read it. So I think that, once again, November is a good month for this, and it's a perfect November book to transition into wintertime. Now, I also plan to read After the Forest in the very beginning of December, late November time. I think that this is definitely a perfect autumnal transition to winter / the end of the year. And that is because it is a Hansel and Gretel retelling. And I feel like that is both something that sounds like a good story to read in the fall as well as the winter. So I feel like it's a perfect book to kind of bridge me over to my winter reading. Now, I also have a very exciting video planned to go with this book, so keep your eye out for that in early December. The third question is, are there any new releases that I am still waiting on? Most of what I have been looking forward to has already come out in the past couple months or earlier this year, but I am planning on reading Divine Rivals very soon, and the sequel is coming out, and you will see why I am already waiting on it when I get to a later question. And the sequel, Ruthless Vows, comes out in December. Fourth question is 3 books that I want to read / get to before the end of the year. The first one that I really want to get to is Piranesi. The first one I want to get to is Piranesi. The first one I want to get to is Piranesi. However you say it. This is really embarrassing. I cannot remember.
Piranesi.
This is one of those books that I really don't know much about, but I have heard a lot of people speak very highly of it, and it seems like something that is right up my alley, so I am very excited to get to this one. Now, the second one that I really want to get to is Little Women. Now, I want to read this around the holidays. I've heard that it's a really good winter holiday time book, so very excited to get to then. This is kind of a chunker, so I've never read classics that are that long before, so but flipping through it, it looks like the prose is really easy to read. I'm not really sure when this was written, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure how old it actually is. I've never seen any of the adaptations or anything, so I am going into this story blind, other than the little blurb on the back. The last thing that I really want to get to this read, the last read that I really want to get to this year is Magnolia Parks. Now, this has been described as being very similar to Gossip Girl, just like rich people drama, toxic relationships, and it sounds like a fun time. I did read a little bit of this and decided I wasn't in the mood for it, but I do think that I could potentially really enjoy this one. And then the fifth question is, are there any raids that I want to get to this year that I think could be new favorites or surprise me? For that, I want to go back to
Piranesi.
As I said, I feel like this is right up my alley. I've heard a lot of people speak really highly of it, so I do think that this could potentially be a favorite of the year for me, or in my top favorites of the year. I also think, and this is why I wanted to circle back to this book, I also think that this could potentially be a favorite for me, a 5-star prediction. So that is why I am already anticipating the release of the next book. And this is pretty short, under 400 pages, which for a fantasy book I feel like is it's really short, and I kind of love that. So really excited to get to this one. I'm pretty sure I've said that about almost every book except for maybe The Secret History or The Silent Patient. So just assume that most of these books I'm excited to get to. And then the last question is, have I started making reading plans for 2024? And of course, the answer to that is yes. I am always planning ahead with my reading. I just can't help it. I'm writing out TBRs months in advance, even though it's very rare that I actually follow through with my plans. Although I'd say maybe about 50% of my plans I can follow through on. Just a little glimpse of what I will be reading next year. I plan to read the entire Crescent City series in January. The third one is coming out at the end of the month. I have loved Sarah J. Maas's other series, especially Throne of Glass. So I'm gonna say it again. Really excited to get to those. I also want to read the Iliad and the Odyssey. I have read the Odyssey in high school. I'm not sure if we read like a full version of it or if it was a like condensed version perhaps. But yes, I really want to get to these. I have been loving Greek mythology retellings, so I feel like I just need to freshen up on the original stories. Well, two of the original stories that lots of the Greek mythology retellings are based off of. And I also want to next summer or maybe next spring, because I just feel like I haven't even said it. I want to read the next book in the Anne of Green Gables series, at least the next book, or I guess in the Anne series. The first one, obviously, Anne of Green Gables. I love this book. I'm still considering putting this on my all time favorites list. It is just such a fun, good, wholesome, like almost kind of life changing experience. It just really reminds you to appreciate nature, appreciate the world, appreciate people like you would if you were a child again. And Anne is just such a wonderful character. Yeah, really excited to get to the next Anne book. Last thing I want to talk about is the next Emily Henry release, A Funny Story, which I believe is coming out in April. I have read all of her books now except for People We Meet on Vacation, which I do have and do intend to read. I'm hoping next time I go on vacation. I don't really know much about the book. Obviously, vacation's in the title, so I thought, it would be fun to read on vacation. So, kind of holding out until I go on a vacation to read that one. How many times am I going to say vacation? And with that, we are at the end of today's video. I hope that you have enjoyed going over some of my reading plans with me, and let me know down below. I really would like to know what you want to get to before the end of the year. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!